sharing energy now. I gotta get through it because, you know, thanks for the good energy. Jimmy, first of all, I just want to say it's such an honor and joy every time I get to be on your show. You empower women and all your guests to feel confident, strong, and safe in what can sometimes feel like facing the world. You and your team are kind, genuine, hilarious, and giving someone a platform where they know they can come express themselves and not be taken advantage of in an interview is so appreciated. I consider you a national treasure, and Winnie and Francis are so lucky to have parents like you and Nancy. I know they will grow up to be intelligent, kind, powerful women. Thank you so much for being here. I'm honored to call you my friend. To Variety, I'm so humbled, beyond humbled. I think that many women on many days feel undeserving, and I thank you for empowering women to feel deserving of recognition and for giving us a chance to speak about causes that we're passionate about. I'm so honored to be here today alongside such icons, Bet, Taraji, Casey, Christiane. I'm such a big fan of all of you, and I really appreciate your courage to share your light, and it inspires me and so many other women to recognize our own light and share it ourselves, so I really appreciate that. To my mom and my grandma, my Oma, who couldn't be here today, but who I carry with me every day of my life. They are beacons of independence and integrity in our family, and I can't explain what an amazing thing it is to have women like them to look up to. To everyone who's with me today, to my 3 sisters and my chosen sisters, thank you for your love and support every day of my life. Bella, don't cry, don't look at me. Woo! You're talented, you are hardworking, you are creative, kind, loyal, honest, and you are unapologetically yourselves, and you all inspire me in your own ways. To my manager, Louise, who's a man, but every girl in the entertainment industry and in the world deserves to have support like this. You allow and empower me to be assertive, to work with integrity, to look inward and ask myself what jobs will truly fulfill me, to express myself creatively, and to be true to who I am. You stand up for me and you see me, and I thank you so much for your guidance and for your friendship. And last but very not least, Carol Stern is here with us. Not only is she the badass female CEO of UNICEF USA, but she is also a kind, brilliant, compassionate, open-minded, inspiring mother, author, wife, child advocate, civil and human rights activist, and friend of the world. It is an honor to have you here with us and to know you. I grew up trick-or-treating for UNICEF with the little blue boxes, like many of us are your kids, and yeah, and Jimmy, which I highly recommend. And so at an early age, I realized the impact of this organization, and when I asked for a meeting at the UNICEF offices in New York, I was given the opportunity to meet Carol. It came at a time in my life where I was on the more introverted side of what I call my ebb and flow of openness towards social media, which I think a lot of us feel at times. And without really being conscious of it, I was searching for the meaning of sharing, the purpose. And I asked Carol to send me on the next trip, wherever that was. And I wanted to go wherever awareness was needed, wherever I could help get eyes and hearts back with people in need. A couple months later, we were making our way to the Rohingya refugee camps in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh, population over 1 million people. To give you a mental picture, the Rohingya people have been disowned by Myanmar. They do not have citizenship anywhere. Starting a year prior to our visit, the Rohingya people began to escape the violence and religious persecution and walk for weeks through mud and water in the scorching heat to cross the border from Myanmar to Bangladesh. They tried to walk with family and neighbors and in their positions to help these communities rebuild. I saw little girls and boys' portfolios of drawings in the UNICEF child-friendly spaces, their earliest at the camp, so the drawings they first made when they got to these child spaces were of helicopters, bombs, men with guns on their soccer fields, bullets, blood, violence, and their more recent ones to our trip were of trees and flowers. This is a piece of art I was given by a boy named Shafi, and I keep it in my apartment. I look at it all the time, but it was amazing to see that transformation in even their art. I played soccer with the boys outside, and afterward one of the UNICEF team members told me I was probably the first girl they'd ever played a sport with. So, you know, I represented well. But I saw UNICEF information centers provide someone to talk with, someone to listen, counseling, or a safe place away from abuse. They could come for information about anything from hygiene to the nearest medical or learning centers. There were nutrition centers giving children born into this crisis and their mothers a second chance. I heard women tell unrepeatable stories about their journey and fight to get themselves, their kids, families, and neighbors to refuge. In UNICEF-supported women-safe areas, women and girls have somewhere to come together, share experiences and advice, and learn trades. What stuck with me the most on that particular visit was that even with their lives in limbo, these women and girls had such desire to do more, to be more, and to get educated to better their lives. When we asked them how UNICEF could help in different ways, and most importantly, what they wanted us to tell the world about them, what it really boiled down to was they want an identity. Although UNICEF does undescribable amounts to support so many millions of children and women around the world, and although there were definitely moments from them. Thank you.